From there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. Dr. Seuss. Thank you so much. It really is a thrill to speak for you. I love the theme you chose and knew exactly what to do. I hope you will forgive me if my interpretation's loose, but I took the liberty of writing in the style of Dr. Seuss. So, thank you for having me. My name is Faye, and it's truly an honor to speak here today. In terms of prestige, there is no other hub more renowned than Capital Speakers Club, empowering women for 65 years. When I heard that, it practically brought me to tears. This club has played host to an endless sea of great luminaries, and you chose me. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Eleanor Roosevelt, and now Faye Lane. Do you know how that felt? It felt great. Thank you. And when I heard, you should have seen the look upon my face. Mrs. Johnson, Lady Bird, has spoken at this place. I say this place, but actually, I'm in my living room. Am I wearing bunny slippers? You don't know, because we're on Zoom. And I'd like to start off with a fun little tale of a childhood trauma. Some might say a fail, but something I've learned in my time on this earth again and again since the moment of birth is that life is a story, and you write the book. Is it funny or gory? Depends where you look. Happy things, scary things, tragedy too. That is what life will be bringing to you. Sometimes we'll laugh, and sometimes we'll weep. But what's up to us is the stories we keep. And the secret to a life lived well is carefully choosing the stories we tell. I like funny stories because I know by the end, everyone in the audience will feel like a friend. So the story I'm going to tell you today happened 1,400 miles away, and it starts with a little girl holding a mop in a charming Texas beauty shop. The beauty shop sat by the railroad tracks with big mirrors in front and shampoo bowls in back, and on the front porch, a fat little girl longing to travel and see the world. She wanted connection. She longed to be seen. She wanted to be a beauty queen. She sat out on the porch steps, dreaming of what life would bring, and gluing shiny silver glitter on a crown from Burger King. She even wore a toilet paper sash. She wasn't shy. She'd sit up straight and wave at any cars or passers-by, pretending she was sitting up there smiling as she waved from the back of a convertible in the Cotton Bowl parade. Unfortunately, as you may know, children can be cruel, and little Rhonda Faye was teased incessantly at school. "Fatty, fatty, 2x4, I heard the children say. It nearly broke my heart. It still does to this day. I held my head up high, but those mean bullies wouldn't stop. Luckily, I had the ladies of my mama's beauty shop. The ladies in that Texas town held Mama in revere, and they came to get their hair done every week, year after year. Miss Helen and Miss Melba and Miss Fane, to name a few. Those three came on Saturdays, but there were weekday ladies too. It was like a constant stream of grandmas, 10 a day. Just do the math. And no matter how bad the teasing got, they could always make me laugh. Miss Melba said, "Well, I like teasing. Why do you think I'm in this chair? I come here every week to have your mama tease my hair." The laughter seemed to take those bullies' words out of my head, and I'll remember all my days the time my sweet Miss Helen said, "Well, pretty is as pretty does, and anyone can see you're not one bit fat. You're just voluptuous like me." Miss Helen sure knew how to put a twinkle in my eye. She always brought me books, and best of all, a fresh moon pie. She brought one every Saturday when Mama did her hair. She'd say, "Go look down in my purse. Be careful though, my gun's in there." Mama had 8 old hood dryers all lined up against one wall. And when the unsuspecting ladies were detained beneath them all, I'd give mandatory concerts with a hairbrush microphone between the sweeping and the mopping and the answering the phone. And with this captive audience, my confidence would grow. I'd say, y'all, put down those magazines. I'm trying to do a show. Miss Fane would sometimes heckle me. Would you sit down and hush? Betty, please, control your child. And although it made me blush, I never gave up hope or thought my dreams were out of reach. I even wrote and learned by heart my beauty queen acceptance speech. Thank you so much, I'd say, in my imaginary gown. But thank you most to Jesus, to who I dedicate my crown. Y'all used to tease me back when I was just a chubby kid, but in the words of Jesus, y'all knew not what y'all did. I knew deep in my heart that somehow fate would rearrange the circumstances of my life. Someday, my life would change. So I was thrilled, but not surprised, for optimism is my habit, to hear of Mrs. Gandy's 3rd grade spring production, Peter Rabbit. I just knew with all my heart that I would make a thrilling Flopsy. But if that didn't happen, well, my fallback role was Mopsy. And if I didn't get a lead, well, I would still embrace my role. I knew that there would be a lot of flowers in that show, and I could be a perky daisy, or I'd strike a languid pose as a fragile southern iris, or a tough chain-smoking rose. When I look back on the traumas of my life, I will most recall the day Miss Gandy's cast list was posted on the wall. I stood there aghast in my pretty plus jeans. I'd been cast in the pivotal role of Green Bean. My fear grew 3 sizes when I heard Chip Toole, the cutest and meanest boy in our school, say, "Oh my God, y'all, would you look at that? Who ever heard of a green bean who's fat?" I went to Miss Gandy, choking with tears. I told her my feelings. I poured out my fears. "I can't do this, Miss Gandy. If you make me, I'll die." She took me by the shoulders and she looked me in the eye. She said, "Rhonda Faye, you listen here. That role's a perfect fit. There are lots of flowers in my show, but just one bean. You're it. You get up there and hold your head up high. Act like a star. Don't let those horrible children try to tell you who you are." And I decided something then that changed my story on the page. I would be the best goddamn green bean to ever grace the stage. But what to do about the costume? Made with green felt by the yard. It had big crepe paper pea pods on a lime green leotard. I didn't want to wear that thing. Green lycra on my thighs? And a 2-foot pea pod hat? Didn't Miss Gandy realize? I wanted a tiara and a full-length satin gown. Suddenly, I had a brainstorm, and I went and got my crown. I stapled that glittered-up Burger King crown to the 2-foot pea pod hat, and then I borrowed my sister's bedazzler. Have you ever heard of that? The bedazzler is a staple gun for rhinestones. It's so great, and I'd covered that thing in enough rhinestones to match my body weight. And suddenly, it was beautiful. I grinned from ear to ear. I wish you all could see it. Oh, wait, I have it here. "2 feet tall." I felt gorgeous. I was ready for my glowing stage debut until Flopsy and Mopsy looked at me backstage like, "What are you?" They had soft pink bunny costumes with little tails to wag. And then I saw Chip Toole in his Farmer McGregor drag, and I thought, oh my God, what have I done? I'm headed for a fall. They all look great, and I look like a big green disco ball. I can't believe I came out here with all these rhinestones on. I look like Kermit the Frog went off and swallowed Elton John. Suddenly, the lights were blinding, and as the curtain rose, my face turned red and sweaty. I stopped breathing. I just froze. I couldn't swallow. How on earth was I supposed to sing? I caught a glimpse of poor Miss Gandy gesturing wildly from the wings, and as I stared into the audience, not knowing what to do, I noticed something yellow, something red, and something blue. I'd know those bright hair colors anywhere. The ladies came. Miss Melba and Miss Helen and my mama and Miss Faye. They came out voluntarily to see me do a show. That must mean they loved me just the way I was. And so I took a big deep breath and I stepped into the light. And now I'm going to sing for you the song I sang that night. I'm a tiny weeny bean living in this garden green. I love to bask in the sun all day. All I do is sleep and play. From my smallest beanie jean to my tiny weeny spleen, I am healthy through and through. Eat me, I'll be good for you. From Dallas clear to Abilene and all of Texas in between, y'all have surely never seen a bean so keen and lean and mean. I'm a green bean queen. The audience jumped to their feet. My very first standing O. Forget those boring bunnies. I stole the freaking show. On Monday, I could feel there was a kind of shift at school. I felt it in the hallway when I ran into Chip Toole. He smiled with admiration and respect. He wasn't mean. He said, "Look, y'all, Rhonda Faye is here. All hail the Green Bean Queen." And I forgave that earlier nonsense. Someday he'll meet his judge. And I had all those fans to greet. Who has time to hold a grudge? I'd learned a lesson that will be with me as long as I'm on earth. I will not let someone else decide for me about my worth. I also learned there's so much more to life than being pretty. A truly regal queen is self-reliant, strong, and witty. And the third thing that I learned, and that I'm here to telegraph, is that my story turned around when I made that audience laugh. Because laughter is healing. It eliminates strain and releases endorphins inside your brain. It just feels good to laugh. But do you know what's even better? The feeling of a group of people laughing all together. Shared laughter turns a group of strangers into a collective. That's why humor in a speech is so enormously effective. To persuade a crowd of people, you don't need a magic potion. Use the joy that comes from laughter. That's a powerful emotion, which, according to psychology, is the ultimate persuader. It opens hearts and minds so you can bring your point home later. And speaking of your point, if you can put that in a story, that'll elevate your speech into a whole new category, because a speech is meant to illustrate a human problem solved, and a story can get everyone emotionally involved. To paraphrase Miss Helen, teaching people makes them smart, but if you tell someone a story, it'll live inside their heart. A funny story that can illustrate your purpose or your vision can convince someone to make a transformational decision. With ideas or goods or services, no matter what you're selling, the best thing you can do is use the tool of storytelling. But Faye, I can't tell funny stories. Never could, never will. Telling funny stories is not a talent, it's a skill. Comedic storytelling can be taught. It's really fun. There are teachers who can help you, and I know because I'm one. The first thing is to identify your deepest, truest self, the one you sometimes hide, keep tucked away up on a shelf. The reason to be your most authentic self each time you speak, because your message isn't new, but the way you're saying it is unique. You have a voice, and it's all yours. You can let go of your misgivings. And trust me when I say this, I do it for a living. It worked for me in grade school, and it works for me today. Every time I write a speech, I think of what I want to say, and then I write a story in my realest, truest voice that illustrates my message. Funny stories are my choice. And funny things are everywhere, but you have to look. You do. Life will give you tragedy. Finding comedy's up to you. I like to focus on what's funny. It diffuses so much strife. I do it in my speeches and especially in my life. And I wish I could go back in time and tell that little girl that silly green bean story took her all around the world. She got her wish for travel and connection, that's for sure. She may not be a beauty queen, but she found out she's so much more. I'd like to put my arm around her and tell her, I'm so proud you learned to love yourself and use your voice to speak out loud. Little Rhonda Faye, you won't believe the things you'll do. And one of those things that I'm thankful for is speaking here for you. So thank you again for having me. I'm sad to see it end because we shared a funny story, and that means we're all friends. Thank you so much.